Good evening, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again for your third and final video blog of the night for June 29th, 2014, Sunday night. The sun is shining so bright in Billerica, Massachusetts. It was another perfect weekend weather-wise with temps in the 80s and low humidity. And it was probably a perfect weekend. Maybe could be the perfect weekend of the summer because the hot and humidity is going to be creeping back up beginning tomorrow. It's summertime. I've told you this before. And we're probably going to get a lot of hazy, hot, and humid days, and with thunder showers and boomers galore most of the time when it's hazy, hot, and humid. On to some tidbits. I had a great dinner. I had a veggie burger sandwich from Bella's Pizza in Billerica, Massachusetts, and it was delicious. I've been plugging Bella's Pizza a lot on these blogs. It's a good place to eat. It's at 113 Boston Road in Billerica, Massachusetts. The pizzas are out of this world. The calzones are amazing. And the subs and salads are great. So if you're in Billerica, Massachusetts, drop by Bella's Pizza at 113 Boston Road on Route 3A going north to Lowell, Massachusetts and Chelmsford, Massachusetts. Okay? Another tidbit is Costa Rica beat Greece at the World Cup in penalty kicks 5-3. Costa Rica's going to be in the Elite 8 for the World Cup. And also there's been rumors that the Phoenix Suns are interested in free agents Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James to sign for the team. If this happens, I think the Suns probably will be a contender for the NBA title. They have a good team right now, just barely missing the playoffs last year. But if they sign LeBron James, they're probably going to be one of the top teams in the Western Conference this year. It would be good to see how it's interesting. And also, there's been also rumors that the NBA is considering moving their draft into July, probably the Wednesday after the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, because they want to have in June at the end of the NBA season, after the NBA Finals, a awards show just like they do for the NHL and end of the season award show. That would be pretty good if they did that. And also, it would be good to have an event after the day after the All-Star Game, because there's no major sporting events on that day. And finally, that's it for the news. And now on to my final subject of the night. It's a personality profile, and it's about Major League Baseball Network's play-by-play announcer and NBC Sports host Bob Costas. Bob Costas has been one of the most popular sports broadcasters in television history. He's worked over 40 years in the broadcasting industry. He went to the famed Syracuse University School because the broadcasting school, and many broadcasters that came out of that school, like Marv Albert and Dick Stockton and Dick Clark and Ted Sarandis and others. And he started his career calling minor league hockey in Syracuse. Then he went to St. Louis to call the St. Louis Spirit in the now defunct ABA. In the late 70s, Bob Costas worked regional announcer for NFL games and NBA games on CBS. He actually called some road games of the Chicago Bulls on WGN-TV in the late 70s. In 1980, NBC Sports signed Bob Costas. His first event for NBC Sports was broadcasting a weightlifting contest on NBC Sports World. And for the next 34 years, Bob Costas has done a lot of things for NBC Sports, like call NFL games, hosted the NFL on NBC pregame show, did Major League Baseball game for the Major League Baseball game of the week from 1983 to 1989. He called 4 American League Championship Series. He also was the host of NBA on NBC. He also called 3 NBA Finals in the 90s. He was the lead play-by-play announcer for Major League Baseball on NBC, which returned. He called 3 World Series, 1995, 1997, and 1999. And he's also hosted golf tournaments, the Winter Classics for NBC. But the role that Bob Costas is famous for is hosting the Olympic Games. He's hosted so many Olympic Games since 1992, and that's his signature role. He's one of the greatest hosts of all the Olympics, and he's won several Emmy Awards for that. Also, Bob Costas worked for cable. In 2001, he signed to work for HBO for his On the Record with Bob Costas, a sports talk show that dealt with issues. He hosted that for about 8 years. He also hosted the Inside of NFL for HBO for 7 years. I also did some boxing. He was a correspondent for Real Sports with Brian Gumbel during his time at HBO. And in 2009, he signed with MLB Network to do play-by-play for select games and also host Studio 42 with Bob Costas, and also he calls a divisional series game for the MLB Network. And Bob Costas is one of the best sports announcers of all time, so popular, and he's also crossed over to news programs for NBC News, and he actually subbed for Larry King Live a few times for CNN years ago. And he also one time was a special guest ring announcer for WWE in 1984-5 for that War to settle the score for the WWE Championship Rowdy Piper against Hulk Hogan and MSG. In 2001 on the Record with Bob Costas, Vince McMahon appeared on the show and he was ready to bop him. It would have been great if that happened, if he bopped him, so we could have had a WrestleMania match between Vince McMahon and Bob Costas. Probably Jim Ross would have been the referee. That would have been funny, but who knows what would have happened. Probably Costas would have lost because some outside interference, but you never know what would have happened. And that's about it for the night. Well, I'll be back tomorrow for at least 3 to 6 more blogs, and it could be anything and everything. This is Rich signing off for the night. Good night, Facebook friends and YouTube followers.